Lambert. I work at ABA Quality Monitoring, and essentially we're a mystery shopping company. We work with retail and financial and other organisations to improve the customer offer or the customer promise that they give to hopefully improve their customer base and overall sales force and return on investment on their business. I was using PowerPoint to fill it with as many words and bullet points and graphs as I could, assuming that people would get something from it. And as it turned out, they really weren't. And it was just a case of they listened to me talk and they probably took away 5–10% of the information that was overlaid.
Sure. So what new ideas did you have introduced through Speakeasy? What sort of new things were you exposed to that kind of resonated with you?
One of the biggest bits was telling a story, which at first I found a little bit difficult to understand. Kind of the stereotypical view of telling a story, it's more for children, it's relaying information of something that's happened in the past. And for me, that didn't necessarily at first sit in with what I thought I needed to do within business. And over the months and after meeting different people and sort of working with you sort of privately and within Speakeasy, realise that actually whenever you're presenting, you are telling a story of some description.
And it's not just a narrow definition of an anecdote, it means the whole thing is a piece of storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right from the beginning, from the problem that you might have or the problem that you want to overcome, there's a story behind that. And it was the mixture of not only for us using the data that we'd collected for our clients and telling them a story, but using other stories and other experiences that we'd had with either other clients, but also in our personal lives. One of the biggest bits, or one of the hardest things for me to overcome was you had to be this corporate cold face. You couldn't show any vulnerability to anybody because that would be a weakness. When in fact, by telling the story, giving anecdotes, showing that you have more of a human side, that actually works so much better with, I would say, all of my clients.
Because you're able to connect with the audience.
Because at the end of the day, for us, we're working with people.
Yes,
we're working with businesses, but the people that we work with on a daily basis are human beings, and as humans, we like to tell stories, we like to listen to stories, we like to connect with other people.
So having been introduced to some new ideas and new ways of thinking about this, you took the plunge and you presented to your main client in a very different way. And talk us through the story of that.
They were very used to bullet points, graphs, charts, bizarrely actually pasting in Excel spreadsheets into presentations. So it's kind of a double whammy of death by PowerPoint, as you might want to call it. And I was given a kind of a small amount of leeway to go, let's try something new. I'd only been to, I think, 2 Speakeasy sessions by this point. I'd only known my client for about a year, so it was still early days in terms of the relationship, but I thought I'm going to take a risk. So I think I came to a Speakeasy on the Monday and I had a client session on the Wednesday. Tuesday frantically, well, I say frantically changed, ripped up the presentation and started from scratch. Added in, there were still certain parameters I had to follow, brand guidelines that they put in place, but started adding in pictures, taking out some of the graphs, because I can print that off, I can email that them, they can get that through their websites. And it was a massive risk. Because it was either going to go one of two ways. It was going to go really well, which is what I was hoping for, or they were so entrenched in the way that they were used to doing presentations and receiving information that they would think, who is this cowboy coming in? And that could, in terms of my career and also with our contracts with the clients, could go very wrong.
And these were senior people, these were regional managers.
Regional area managers. It was presented to senior members of the head office team as well. So it was going to go one of two ways. The exposure we were getting, if it went well, it was brilliant for us. If it went badly, it was going to go bad. So I tracked up to Newcastle, kind of relatively nervous. Had given my boss a certain element of information, but sort of wanted to keep her not so much in the dark, but I thought, well, the less she knew, the less she could probably get told off about it. But so we went up, presented, and I was lucky enough to see the previous presentation, which absolutely fell into the death by PowerPoint mode.
So you have nothing to follow, really.
No, absolutely. It was their usual presentation style.
Yes.
So I thought, right, well, this is complete new slate. Got up, nervous on the inside, very much duck on water. Started presenting, and you could see around the room as certain slides went on, and they were looking, going, well, hold on a minute, how does this piece of rock relate to what you're talking to us about? And that was one of my opening slides, and it was the idea of a piece of rock, I had a picture up of Blackpool rock. And it had the word Blackpool all the way through the rock, and I used that to highlight consistency within their business. I didn't need to have the word consistency on the screen. I didn't need to see numbers relating to different regions. And you could slowly see them, slide after slide, starting to get this idea of, okay, well, I can relax. I don't need to write down all the numbers that he's going to give us, because he's clearly not giving us any numbers, and we're going to listen to see what he has to say.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of people in the room who you could tell were, I don't know, from the sort of dark ages of going, well, I'm not too sure about this. But by the end of the session, people were engaged, were asking questions, everybody seemed positive about it. But it was very much the proof's going to be in the pudding.
Yes.
Because it's all right them saying something to me, to my face, but what happens afterwards?
Yes.
And the regional manager sent fantastic feedback, both to the other regional managers, but also to the head office team. And from that one chance presentation, we were then asked to present to the rest of the network, which is about 14 or 15 different regions. And that was, well, I think it's about 2 years ago now.
Fantastic. So just wrapping up then, is there a final parting message for the viewers that you would give them on the subject of how to present their message better?
I think do away with the traditional PowerPoint system. Don't go down a route of bullet points. If you want to use PowerPoint, and I remember somebody at one of your Speakeasy sessions who is adamantly against PowerPoint, doesn't want to use them at all. I know some people don't like to kind of go too cold turkey with without using it, but maybe pull out all the information and just put maybe one image and a couple of words that really resonates the point you're trying to make. And at the end of the day, remember, you're telling a story. You're not presenting facts and figures. You might need to give them that information, but you're telling them a story.
Yeah.
Talk them through the journey, and from my experience at least, that will resonate a lot more with the audience, and hopefully they'll take away much more.
Sure. Ben, thank you very much.
Thanks.